Hey, and welcome to a special presentation of Transformation 101. We're going to work today on meal planning. This is something that may seem very straightforward and easy on the surface. Oh, by this point, I know what to eat. I know how to make check metabolic nutritious meals, so forth. But there's a big difference between actually knowing what to do and being able to implement. So having said that, you really need to have a great plan. And part of having a great plan is to be able to implement that. We look today at some steps to get meal planning to be something that becomes very natural for you. At first, this is going to be tedious, a little bit awkward. You might have some difficulty in actually implementing this. But as it becomes more natural, it may become second nature. You won't even need to spend much, if any, time actually going through these steps. We're going to start with a quick presentation, just looking at some of the different things that go into this. So this week, we are actually going to cover very simply, how the heck do I do this? Implementation of metabolically precise living. The process is going to be pretty straightforward. You're going to need a weekly meal plan, and that's going to basically answer what will you eat daily, answer what can you make double or triple to even lightly affect these. This then is going to lead to your grocery list. So you're going to be able to, you need to figure out exactly what what you're going to need to actually make every meal on your plan. Then we're going to shop, and that is the fun part if you have the luxury of not having kids with you or plenty of time to do it. This actually can be the biggest difficulty of the whole thing, because it really is going to involve making sure that you have enough time to really implement your list, sticking to, you have to really have the discipline to stick to your list. And a big part of being successful is making sure that you have enough time to then take to step 4, which is to chop and prepare. So the shop and chop is probably the most crucial part, short of having all the right ingredients and tools to make make your meal plan a reality. For meats, you'd want to divide on a per meal basis. So, if you're buying, packages of chicken or ground beef and that kind of thing, if you have them already divided up into, oh, I'm going to have making chicken breasts this night and making burgers this night, having everything already divided up is going to exponentially speed your process of actually preparing foods. You also then have the ability to just go ahead and freeze everything individually, and very easy. You're also going to chop and butterfly as needed, freeze as I just said, and whatever you can really identify what you can cook while you're doing in this step. And we'll go over kind of what that'll look like in a couple minutes. Fruits and vegetables, wash, chop, and store everything. You're not going to eat your fruits and veggies unless they're something that you can get to very easily. So if you purchased, maybe grapes or berries or some kind of fruits like that, wash them. Get the the little cores out of the strawberries. Get the grapes. Take the grapes off of the vine unless you're going to just eat them, or at least cut the vines up into little pieces that you can just grab in regular, and already prepared segments. That's really important because fresh fruits especially, are going to go bad very quickly. So if they're not easy to access, like we've talked about in the past, you're not going to eat them. So having all of that ready to go can really maximize your success. I would even go so far as to divide up based on what you're going to need for meals and snacks. So, if you're going to have your strawberries for your liquid meals, go ahead and divide those up. Put them into individual baggies, or mix them with the amount of yogurt that you need or cottage cheese that you need that kind of thing, so that it's really easy to use. And the same goes for snacks. Pre-package into containers and baggies so that they're easy access. And then anything else that you might have, that doesn't fall into those categories. When we talk about creating a meal plan, there's several questions to sit down and ask yourself to really make this not just a well thought out process, but something that's going to be affordable, something that's going to be appealing, and something that you can actually implement. So first and foremost, what do you want to eat this week? If you don't want to eat it, then I wouldn't put it on your meal plan. This includes breakfast, lunch, dinner, and your in-between meals. So all 6 meals of your day. Ask yourself what's on sale. That can really be a great way to add some diversity to your meal plan because sales are going to change in the grocery stores from week to week. Some cuts of meat will be on sale certain weeks, so you may be able to, afford to maybe splurge on a nicer cut of steak or something like that one week because the price was right. Or you may find that chicken is a lot of times we will find chicken and we'll buy one get one free. So we'll stock up on chicken one week so that we then have to purchase it later, but then we can save a lot of money. Identifying when you're going to be working out, and this is going to be helpful not just with identifying the window and what kind of what foods you can eat around at those times. It's also going to help you be a little more consistent with your training because you have those already planned out. Identifying which days you're busiest or most stressful. If you know that Tuesday nights you have work meetings and then you have soccer practice and you have training session, there's all these things going on. You plan to have food pre-prepared for these nights, and we'll look at what that means in a little bit. Also look at what small tweaks you can make to the same meals to give variety. This could be something easy like, if you're already going to fire the grill up for a chicken, maybe make 3 nights worth of chicken, but season it differently. You could do lots of different things like that. So the sky's the limit. You need to write it down. If you don't have, all this planning, and it seems obvious, but all this planning isn't going to be any good if you don't write it down. I would hang it up or put a copy somewhere where you see it daily. Some people actually have, these pretty little boards. They have the weekly menu up. You don't have to get super creative if you don't want to, but this is going to help not just with your organization, but to mentally prepare you for what you're going to be eating. Your mind's going to be, oh wow, yeah, I have burgers tomorrow night. Instead of So it's really going to give you the opportunity for your body to be looking forward to that. You really need to. This seems obvious, but make sure you're actually going to eat what you plan to prepare. Don't plan to make something because you have to, or oh hey, I should be eating this. Don't go there. Make something that you're going to eat that's going to be good for you. You actually go through the process of your shopping list. Jot down every single ingredient that you're going to need in order to fulfill your meal plan. Then you're going to go to your cabinets, check and see if you have those ingredients, make sure they're not expired or bad, make sure that you have enough. If you're going to be using a certain spice, you make sure that you have enough to get you through that week. If you don't have it, you can't make it. I know this seems blatantly obvious, but trust me, this is something that must be said. When you make your shopping list, it's smart to categorize based on the area of the store. So make a column or section for dairy, make one for meat, make one for produce, and divide everything up there. That way you're going to be able to just get in and get out in a much more faster manner. So when we look at my shopping list, flip screens here for a second. We're actually going to make a meal plan. So when we look at my meal plan, and this is something that I got from emptybody.com, and I'll show you how to get there in a couple minutes. But we have, I've got 7 days here. So pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and just say, okay, what am I going to eat on certain days? You know what? Let's go through. I'm sorry, I'm switching gears here because I want to get I'm going to go through the whole process first, and then we'll go. It's the whole process on notes, and then we'll go through the process. So we'll come back to what all that means. This also seems maybe obvious, but don't shop on an empty stomach. Don't do it. Seriously, don't. Everything is going to look good, you know, and it's going to be incredibly difficult to stick to your goal. Don't shop in your rush. Give yourself ample time to complete your trip and to finish your top steps. You know, you may really need to dedicate, you know, one afternoon to this. That may seem incredibly tedious and time-consuming, but I'll show you in a few minutes how that's actually the exact opposite. Again, seriously, don't be rushed. Stick to your list. Find something, you know, and if you find something in the store that you really want to make, you know, keep a note of it so you can compare it next week. You know, if it's on sale, then go ahead and buy the ingredients and freeze them. As you become more adept to this process, you can switch things around on the fly. But as you're starting out and you're really getting the hang of it, really just make a point to stick to your list, because otherwise you're going to end up buying things that you're not going to use. This is going to get really confusing. And as much as possible, stay out of the aisles. That's where you're going to find the processed foods and a lot of the junk that really you should be avoiding. There is not going to be a time when you're as motivated to complete the process of prepping your food than when you come home from the store. You've just dropped, you know, a good portion of your paycheck on, you know, on these foods. You really want to be able to use them. If you really think you're unmotivated or tired after shopping, give it a day. When life catches up with you, when you've got hungry kids, when you've got a busy work schedule, when you have you know, sick spouse, any of a number of things, it's much better to just get it done at this time. I like to take the divide and conquer approach. So first, I kind of figure out what meats can I cook in advance. Then I look at what veggies I could prepare up front, which ones need to be chopped and stored, and I do that for the rest. So at this point, now we'll go and we'll look at my meal plan, and we'll look and see what this looks like. So I've got this. I've got this meal plan here, and we've got enough space for 8 meals a day. And that, you know, if you need to eat more, that's great. 6 is really the goal. But what this is going to allow you to do is also have space in there for your liquid meat. I'm sorry, for your the pre and post workout and that kind of thing. So usually for breakfast, I like to have a 4-egg scramble. Really, what I'm going to look at for this week before we start is I'm going to look at, you know, I'm going to go ahead and identify when my workouts are. So my workouts are going to be Monday afternoon. Again on Wednesday in the morning. Thursday in kind of midday. And then again on Saturday. Or a little bit in the kind of midday again. So there I've identified my window. So I know here, but because I just worked out, I really want to have big CDs with meat adults. And I know I'm going to have leftovers, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this in here for lunch. Typically what I do in any given week is I always make a roasted chicken. And you see that pop up a lot of times throughout my meal. So I know that here for my second meals that I can have chicken in there. So you know, so there's my let's finish this one. really the storage there. Here I'll have some chicken and stir-fry rice and veggies. For dinner, ribeyes are on sale, so I'm sure this will be. So there, right away, I've got. Oh, I'm also going to have a little bit of that's going to be inside my. It's going to be a. I'm going to add. There we go. So there, right there, I have my workout nutrition plan. So right there, out of my 42 meals, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 meals finished. Now I am pretty consistent with my breakfast. I'm about always going to eat 4 eggs, and this week I've got mushrooms and spinach. And I'm going to make that. I always make double in the mornings. So that is what I'm going to have on Wednesday, Thursday. On Tuesday, I'm going to make, actually, let's look at this. I'll probably be out of mushrooms at that point. Friday, I want somebody to have banana pancakes. But keep in mind that for me, bananas, because I've gone through a couple of MP programs, bananas are not, no longer inside the window. So sometimes, and my goals are also to have, maintain weight and even gain weight to build some muscle. So you'll see that I sometimes will eat some meals outside of the window. So I just want you to keep in mind this recipe is really simple. You're going to need 3 eggs plus 1 banana. It's just going to blend that together. Saturday's an early day to run out the door, so I'm going to have a protein shake with fruit, and then I'm going to have 3 eggs when I get home. Leftover burger patty. Sunday, I'll have so see how it's all starting to come together. Now next, typically I'm going to figure out where my staple lunches are. So here I'm going to have, and you can change the times on here for time's sake. I'm not going to do that. So here I'll have roasted chicken with veggies. Tuesday, burger patty over spinach. Wednesday, I already got my baked ziti. Thursday, because of just timing, and I get up a little bit earlier on Thursdays, I'll end up having lunch a little bit later, which is my chicken pasta with peas. Friday, I'm real creative here. Let's do a burger patty with peas. And you'll see here I'm eating a little bit more things outside the window because Saturday is going to be a heavier treating day. I've got my lunch here for Saturday. Sunday, we usually eat out after church. So there are my lunches. Now for dinners, we've got baked ziti on Monday. Tuesday, chicken stir fry. Meal with asparagus on Wednesday. Thursday we've already figured out. Friday, Saturday we're gonna grill, and Sunday I'm gonna saute some pork chops and have some veggies. For desserts, we go with the vanilla berry pudding, which is inside the window. And it's going to get me my extra for the week, my extra meals for with outside the window carbs, so that I can get the the extra weighting that I'm looking for. And that's going to be my big cheat. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 8, because I'm always going to have whatever I get out at the restaurant. So here with the rest of the places, this is my go-to snack. I just love it. It is my, never just seems to get away from me. So you could also mix it up with different fruit, with yogurt, anything like that. But that's a big thing Mox and I like to do, is have our little cottage cheese snack throughout the day. Kind of like, it makes me think, it pulls me into thinking of having a little bowl of ice cream. Sunday, because we'll be at church, I'll bring something a little more forward. So there we go. Now you've got that's how you're going to sit down and make your home meal. Start with your metabolic window, because that's going to help things fall into place. Then pick one meal at a time. So I knocked out breakfasts, and I knocked out lunches, and I knocked out dinners. And then you can kind of fill in the blanks from there with the list of what you need. Now we're going to look at 2-page view, because we're going to work on a shopping list. So I'm going to see here that I need, I'm going to have eggs for breakfast every day. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We need about 48 eggs. 4 dozen eggs. I really don't think that I actually eat 4 eggs. I think I usually make 5 eggs and I split it in half. But it doesn't really matter. I'm not worried about it for this. I'm going to need about 4. Now keep in mind that I'm making this for, I'm making this for my whole family. So when I'm going through this, if you're an individual, you're going to put how much you're actually going to eat. If you are making this with your family, you need to keep in mind how many people you're actually cooking for. So because Monty and I both eat a lot of cottage cheese, that's why I'm going to get 4 containers of it this week. So I'm completely out. We need strawberries. We can need blueberries. We need 2 roasted chickens. About halfway on Wednesday, I'm going to have to pop one in the crock pot again, because of the amount that we're eating. And really all I'm doing is I'm just going down this list here. So once I start to get to things that I've already, here I am, I'm going straight across here. So I've got, I also eat bananas with my liquid meals. So I've got a pre and post workout here, 2, 3, 4. So I need probably about 8 bananas between what Monty will eat, what I'll eat. Ray's not a big banana person. So there I've got my eggs. I'm going to need a container of spinach, a container of mushrooms, want to do Japanese blend for my omelets. And I'm just going through here. What I'm going to do is when I go to write this down, I'll actually highlight these in different colors. So all of my dairy I'll highlight in yellow. All of my produce I'll highlight in green. All of my meat I'll highlight in red. So literally when this is all said and done, I'm literally going to go file, I'm going to print, and I'm going to take this with me. So that's why I really like using this online. So we've got this. I'm gonna need fruit. I'm gonna pick whatever's on sale and whatever's cooking. And so right there, I've taken care of all of my breakfasts. I've taken care of my snacks of the cottage cheese with the fruit. I've taken care of my protein shake. And now I'm going into lunch. So I said I need 2 roasted chickens. So that's going to take us through, because we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meals with, I can count this, I'm missing anything. 5 meals with chicken in it. So literally I'm going to rip it apart when it's all done, and that's going to put in the stir fry. That's going to put over pasta. That's what I'm going to put in my chicken and rice. And I found that I can usually get anywhere between 5 and 7 servings out of 1 frozen chicken. So since we'll be doing that for 2, plus matzo, I think we should be okay with 2 large chickens. And I'm going to choose that note on there. We've taken care of that. I'm going to need zucchini, and tomato sauce. I'm going to keep a running total here. 1 pound for the meatballs. And usually what I'll do is I might print this out first and then take this, and write it. I find it easier to type. But what I could do is then I can check off each one as I go, so that I'm not getting lost. So for about 3 of us, we'll eat, maybe a little bit less than a pound per serving, per meal. So we had, we're active. Ray bikes to and from work. There's a lot. We've got a lot going on. So having so about a pound for that. We have burger patties. It's about a quarter of a pound each, so a little bit less. I always err on the side of having a little bit extra, because then when I sit down to do this next week, I won't be having quite, it'll carry me over a couple of days. It gives me a little bit of buffer. So we've got that. We've got 2, I've got 3, 4, 5. We need about 5 pounds. And really, that's probably more than we need. But again, use some leftover in my patty scramble. Having a little more, we'll use it. Then I'm going to need my ingredients for my liquid meals. So I'll need, but that's already covered in my fruit. I'll probably end up going to the farmer's market again this week, to get some more strawberries and fruit and vegetables. Asparagus. We've got sauteed vegetables. We'll do zucchini, squash, carrots, and 2 zucchini, another squash, small bag, carrots, snack on those, 2 sweet potatoes. We need about 4 potatoes, mashers. We're also going to need pork. So we're going to have pork chops with sauteed vegetables on Friday and then again on Sunday. So I need about, let's go with 4 pork chops. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy an extra kind of beef here. Because and I'll explain why later. So that pretty much covers everything. When we look at the screen to get on the MP website, and this is going to show you. Let's pull up the recipe that I need so that we can figure out what I need in my vanilla bear pudding. You can type in here and you can find the cookbook on here. So I'm going to need quinoa, soy milk, stevia, salt, cinnamon, vanilla essence. I've already got strawberries, blueberries, and flaxseed. So I might actually go ahead and change this. And in light of realizing that I need that, I'm going to get 2 containers of strawberries and 2 containers of blueberries. Quinoa. I already will just stevia because I don't have any of this in my pantry. So the soy milk, almond milk, and I really don't need very much almond milk. I need about 3 cups. So actually we'll double that for 6 cups because doubling the recipe so it has enough for all of us to eat. I have cinnamon, I have vanilla essence, I have strawberries, I have flax seeds, and it's cinnamon. So we are all set there. So this is literally my entire grocery list of what I'll need for the entire week. Oh, I also need McDonald's. I'm just going to go ahead and get an extra that I just have some. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do there. So now I'm going to go back to the presentation and we'll look at how this all falls together. So looking at my chop sequence, we've got some things that I'm going to do right off the bat. So when I come home, I'm going to go ahead and immediately throw my chicken into the top pot. I'm going to put probably no seasoning on it because I'll season it to taste when I throw it into individual things. Sometimes I'll put just some garlic powder and some onion powder on it to kind of make it good. But literally all I'm going to do is add a cup of water, put it on for an hour, literally just take the chicken out of the bag and put it in, and that's cooking. It'll take about 4 hours. So I'll have to come back to it later. Give it time to cool. In about 5 or 6 hours, I'll come back, split it all up for parts, and put it in the kitchen, or I'm sorry, in the refrigerator. I'm gonna have a couple of things of brown rice throughout the week, so I'll make probably 2 or 3 cups of that. Montel will eat a little more rice because he's a growing boy. So I'll go ahead and boil that. That'll take about 30 minutes. I'm going to take my burger patties and I'm going to go ahead and saute them. If I'm incredibly lazy, I might broil them, but I find that they tend to shrivel up really quickly in the broiler. Saute and they tend to stay a little bit better. So, looking at my meal plan, we've got let's count. 1, 2, only 2 meals. 2 meals that I'll have that have burger patties planned for us. So I'll go ahead and I'll make about 2 pounds of burger meat, divide it up, and go ahead and saute those. I've got all the pans out to do that. Now I'm going to make my meatballs. I'm literally going to, probably turn the oven on to heat right up here while I'm doing the crock pot. I'll put the meatballs in there and get them going. Literally, I usually just mix some seasoning in there, some olive oil. I'm sorry, garlic powder, onion powder, maybe a little seasoned salt. Turn them into balls, and I'm going to go ahead and bake that because in 2 days I'm going to eat this, and the DD is going to take a little bit. Now, what I might also do is I might just at least make the meatballs and then put them in a bag and freeze them. And then when I have the oven on to make my ziti on Monday, I'll go ahead and make the meatballs. Monday's not a particularly busy day for me, so I'll leave that. If Monday was going to be very busy, I would bake the meatballs and I would bake the ziti, and we would just reheat them both. It talked about how I got an extra pound of beef on my list because I'm making meatloaf. Anytime I make meatloaf, I always make extra and freeze it. So if I'm making, I put them into individual loaves. I individually freeze them, and then all I have to do is take them out, defrost them, and pop them in the oven. With these meatloaves, what I might do if I'm preparing making my meatballs is I may bake the meatloaf also, and then they're just ready. And I'll put them in the oven to reheat them, or even saute them a little bit because the microwave tends to dry them out. I'm going to individually package my pork chops. I might freeze them if they're really getting close to their expiration date. But if I bought it with plenty of time in advance, then I'm just gonna go ahead and bag them and put them in the bottom of the fridge, so I can pull them out on the nights that I need them. I'm actually gonna make my meatloaf. I'm sorry. I'm actually on the night that I make my meatloaf, I'm actually gonna also cook my pork chops, and then I'll make my pudding. I'm gonna also chop and saute my mushrooms. I'm gonna wash and cut the asparagus. I'm gonna wash all the berries. I'm gonna pull out the green cores for the strawberries. I'm gonna divide some of them into snack bags, and I'm gonna also divide 2 to 3 portions of cottage cheese into containers so that if I need to grab those on the go, I can do that. So when we look at all of that, wow, a lot of work. We sat here and we had to make this whole meal plan, and then we have to figure out our shopping list, and then we've got to come home and we've got to prepare it all. The shop sequence might take an hour or two, depending on how much prep you really have to do. But when we look at how it all plays out, I'm only actually cooking less than half of my meals. So for breakfast, I'm going to make a double portion of eggs and then divide and reheat for the second meal. Actually, what I have done this morning is I went ahead and I actually made 2 days worth of eggs. So tomorrow, all I have to do is reheat them and eat them. So I'll probably do that for maybe like 3 days in a row, and then I can just individually divide them up and just reheat them. So I don't even have to cook in the morning. If I have a particularly busy week in the morning coming up in the mornings, I'll actually make maybe like a spinach quiche or something like that. You can find that recipe on my blog, and I'll actually make 2 of those, and I'll freeze one, and then all I have to do is cut a couple slices and eat them and just warm them up. My snacks are already washed and divided. My lunches are cooked during the chop sequence. Remember, I made my chicken and I made my burgers, so those are both ready to go. The only thing that I'll have to cook during the week is on Wednesday when I have the chicken with is it Wednesday when I have, or I'm sorry, Thursday when I have pasta. The pasta doesn't really take a whole lot because I'm not having it any other times during the week. I'm not going to make a whole lot of extra because I'm going to end up eating the pasta. But I did make, I've brown rice a couple days, so I cooked that up as well. For dinner, I'm only cooking 3 nights, and I could actually minimize that if I wanted to. Because Monday, all I had, because I made my meatballs during the during my chop sequence, all I have to do is boil the pasta, mix all the ingredients, and bake the ziti in the meatballs. If I'm really in a hurry, I've already got the oven on in the chop sequence. I may just go ahead and do all of that, excuse me, at once then, and then Monday I wouldn't even need to cook it all. Tuesday, we're having chicken stir fry. All I have to do is reheat the chicken, throw it in with the vegetables into my wok, and just reheat it. And I could put that in the microwave if I really needed to. Wednesday, I'm going to pop those pre-made meatloaves into the oven with the seasoned pork chops for Friday. So right there, I cook 2 meals at once. All I have to do is put the pork chops on the pan because they've been individually divided, and I'm going to, just make, put some seasonings on it. Thursday, the burgers are already made. Literally, all I have to do is chop up a baked potato. I'll probably already have it peeled and chopped up from my chop and chop, or I'm sorry, my chop sequence, and my chop and chop sequence. There we go. And literally, all I have to do is put it in the oven. Friday is seasoned pork chops with sauteed vegetables. All I gotta do is fire up the microwave because the pork chops are already done. Saturday, we're gonna grill. It's a little more of a laid back day. And Sunday, I'm gonna do a 10-minute saute. So it's gonna be pretty easy. All I have to do is pour a small olive oil in the pan, some seasoning on the pork chops, and I'm good to go. So you see, I'm really not doing a whole lot throughout the week because I did it all earlier. So instead of prepping, cooking, and cleaning up every day, I only have to cook. I only have a whole lot of cleaning up to do just on Saturday, and it's really not even doubled because cooked all, done several portions of my ground beef together and so forth. So that is a simplified version of what I do, on a daily basis. And hopefully that makes that's something that you can take and kind of run with it to do, in your own kitchen. Definitely if you're, makes sense. Just imagine if you're cooking for, 2 or 3 people, you just figure out what each person's going to use in a serving and just increase that. I usually tend to make a couple extra leftovers just in case maybe one day I'm more hungry and cottage cheese and fruit, so I can cut it for a snack or something like that. But you have all the tools to succeed. If you go to, and I've showed this before, but we'll show it again for help's sake. If you go to mpbody.com and you're logged in, type in weekly meal plan. There's actually done for you weekly meal plans. I'm going to open this up. And right here, this is, based on, you have to then put your workouts in around these times. But this then gives you meal plans and a complete shopping list of everything that you would need. So if you have, so with that, I guess I'm just showing you the whole. So this is what's open in the download, and it gives you an entire week's meal plan. You have breakfast, snacks, dinners. You need to go around, the windows for that, or move them around. But even here, she's got what your weekly cookup would be of the things you need to prepare in advance. So hers is on a couple of different days, whereas mine is kind of all in one day. But you have that, those as resources as well, and there's like 13 of them. You can literally go through the entire 12-week program while you're getting used to doing this and have everything planned out. So today's webinar is a little short, and the reason is because you take this time you normally have for the rest of the webinar, and you sit down and plan your own meals. Plan out a week, even if you don't have to use it. Although, why wouldn't you? Treat this as though this is still information that's coming to you, that you're still following along in the webinar. and take this time to get a meal plan together, to make your shopping list, and to carve out some time this week to go and do your shop and shop sequence, okay? And feel free, actually, I highly recommend that you share that with me. You can go over your meal plan, see if there's some things that maybe should change or things that are great, so give you some really good feedback on it as well. So hopefully you found this informative, insightful, and helpful. As always, feel free to contact me anytime, questions, email, text, and we will get you on your way to be more proficient with this new sustainable lifestyle of yours. All right, well, have a great week. I look forward to seeing your meal plans.